Chastity, the social media influencer and rockstar killer. Maria, from Miami. And Lucy, aspiring actress. Sydney, hip-hop lover and writer, so I'm told. And my quiet one, Mackenzie. Well, hello ladies. I'm Bella. I have a question for everyone. Why do you think rich men cheat? Control.
I'm going home.
Don't go.
Attention.
You bring the total package to the table. You just need the right friends.
Are you my friend?
No, but you can be mine.
And power.
I stuck my neck out for you.
Thank you!
And I pulled the strings to get you onto this show.
Take all three away, and he becomes desperate.
So, what's with the apples?
Well, it represents knowledge, wisdom, beauty, and power. Here, you will learn how to gain ownership of all.
I'm gonna send you the money for the ticket, and I already have your room set up at the Palms.
You do that, babe.
Because once you have possession of the apple, no man alive will have power over you.
You make it sound so easy.
Oh, it's not easy.
Brett, look, I'm sorry.
Save it! Save it!
I get no auditions.
I'm gonna stop you right there.
I get no callbacks.
I really need to get upstairs. They stole all my money.
I don't know who the fuck you think you are, but you're no better than the rest of us.
Right now they have a do not disturb until this afternoon. If they call you, great.
How is he gonna call me if he doesn't?
If not, charge it to the game.
Make no mistake, ladies. In order to succeed in this game, you must be willing to play it out till the very end.
This business is all types of savage.
What are you doing?
But if you follow my blueprints, I guarantee you will become a millionaire within the next 3 years. Possibly way earlier. So, are you ready to take that step?
Another day, another dollar. Ain't about money, don't you holla. 100 miles and racing, and that money conversation been my only motivation, yeah.
Up y'all, this is Rayon Lawrence, and you're watching Real Talk with the Director.
Hey everyone, it's your girl Catherine Nunez, and you're watching Real Talk with the Director and the Council on the IE Network.
Real Talk.
Hey, I'm Gina Lou, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hey, what's up? It's Logan Browning, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Real Talk.
Hi, this is Alana De La Garza, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hi, I'm Diane Franklin from Better Off Dead and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures. You're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hi, this is Monique Capri, and you are watching Real Talk with the Director on Blog Talk Radio.
Hey, I'm Stormy Maya, and you are listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
It's Vicky Judy. Orange is the new black, and I'm here with Real Talk.
Yo, what up? This is Jay Ellis, and you're watching Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio. Keep it locked.
Hi, I'm Trina Parks, and you're listening to Real Talk Radio with the Director. Hey, I'm Issa Rae, and you're watching Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
The truth, nothing more, nothing less. What's going on, people? Welcome back to another edition of Real Talk with the Director and the Jedi Council. I am the Director, if you didn't know. And we'll be with you for the next 120 minutes or so. Real Talk is brought to you each and every Monday by B2S Media. We broadcast live via the World Wide Web on YouTube.com/IE Network TV, the IE Network Independent Entertainment Network, home of independence. And of course, Facebook, aka Meta. So, what's going on, people? Happy Monday. It is the 25th of September. Do you remember? 25th day of September. But anyway, welcome back, people. And the strike, well, I want to say congratulations to the Writers Guild of America and its union writers for coming to, a deal with the studios finally. So good job, them. Yeah. Thanks for sticking it out, writers. So no details on the deal yet, but the strike is over as far as the Writers Guild concerned. The Screen Actors Guild, that still remains to be seen. So still hanging out there. But the details of the deal has not come out yet. It probably won't be out for another few days. They have some formalities, some red tape they got to go through. The lawyers have to come and sign off, and then they have to send out the agreement, and then they got to do like a ratification vote or something like that. So there's still a few formalities to get past, but the hard part is done. They reached a deal that they are happy with, as what they said. They reached a deal that they feel is benefits everyone involved, and they can get back to work. We'll talk a little more in detail about that, because there's a lot of other things that comes along with that, and then we can talk about what does this mean for the industry? What does this mean for the actors? What does it mean for the studios going forward? So are they just doing one crisis at a time? Like, okay, now, because, the actors were striking for very similar things, but like I said in the past, the actors and what the writers wanted, what the actors wanted, was the same and very different at the same time. So I said to you before that the writers, where they were threatened by AI, but that wasn't that was one of their big things as well. But they just wanted to make sure that they still in the loop, in the room, in the writer's room. And that's allegedly, from what I'm hearing from a couple of insiders, writers that I know that are union writers, they just like, they're like, we could use AI ourselves. We don't have nothing against that. We just need to make sure that we don't lose our jobs over it. And we want to make sure that we get in writers' rooms. And there's a certain amount of people required, human people required, in the writers' rooms. What's up, Joseph Tanner? Welcome back. And welcome back to the chat room, everybody in the chat room. Shout out. So, like I said, they just wanted to make sure, okay, we could get with the AI. We could use the AI. That's not a big deal. Because it does. If you use it properly, it helps you. It's going to help you more than anything else. But you got to use it right. And that's what they were talking about. And then, of course, they're going to be getting some stuff. Obviously, residuals are higher. They got more access to, higher pay residuals when it comes to streaming. The network television stuff, that was never that bad in the first place. I mean, they could have, like, because of inflation and all that stuff, you could have upped some money, but the writers got paid from network television pretty decent. But we know that that's not the way everyone's going. I mean, hell, Disney is looking to sell off, parts of ABC, their network, their television network, because that is just no one hardly watches television no more. I bet you if you're watching Monday Night Football, most people are probably watching it on the ESPN app. Now I'm sure there's still people watching it on ESPN or they have cable and watch it on TV, but um there's a lot of people that's probably on their way home from work, not at work yet, and they're watching stuff on the ESPN app. Um so we'll see. We'll get a little more deeper into that. We'll talk about some other stuff too that's pretty interesting. Usher is getting, as I called this, um, he will be performing at Super Bowl halftime this year in Las Vegas. Makes perfect sense. He's already there. He's doing his residency, and this is something that I suggested months ago. I was like, you should get Usher to do it. He's already in Vegas. Somebody heard me, and Usher is now hosting. He will be performing at halftime in Las Vegas Super Bowl, whatever it is, the Super Bowl this year. Really cool. Pretty cool. Overdue, I think, because Usher definitely he got a nice catalog. And, someone said, and I agree, I'm going to repeat what they said. They said this man was seamlessly, he went through 4 decades pretty much, right? He was able to transition through the decades seamlessly. He went from having straight R&B to like pop music to was it EDM music? Like he started, yeah, he's just changing with the times and adjusting as an artist should, and you know, thinking out of the box, not staying stuck to one thing, and experimenting, and really doing. He has a nice illustrious career, and now all of that's paying off with his residency in Vegas, and he's dropping a new album on the day on Super Bowl Sunday. So obviously, and once he knew he was getting Super Bowl, oh, I gotta drop me an album. That makes sense, right? So good for Usher. I think he'll put on a great show. He always puts on a good show. I respect him because he dances his behind off and sings, live. So it's not hard. It's not easy to do. To sing live and still be jumping around, dancing, and all that other stuff. And he doesn't sound terrible when he sings live either. So, I mean, a lot of people do it, but a lot of people don't do it. Most people do pre-records, or some of them just straight lip sync to their records. But a lot of times, Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson are famous for this too. And I'm not punching down on it for definitely Michael Jackson is the king, but Michael would pre-record his stuff because he did so much moving around. So a lot of times he would pre-record his stuff and he would go back and forth. See, Michael didn't straight lip sync to his stuff. He would go back and forth. So during times of his performance where he's not going to be jumping around and going crazy, the mic is on. But when it comes down to the dancing and singing part, the mic is off and the pre-recorded version of the song, is on. So a lot of performers do that. They've done it. That's why I give a lot of respect to Beyonce because she doesn't do that. I've never really seen her do it. So you give a lot of respect to her for her performing because she's literally out there singing because you can tell because she sounds great, but sometimes she don't sound as great because she's moving around and bouncing around and going and dancing. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe she does some of it, some of the pre-record, but I never really seen her do it. So anywho, that's more news. We got some other stuff too we'll talk about. I want to talk about this Martin Scorsese stuff. Martin has some as usual, has some interesting words. But I'm gonna say this time I usually go against Marty, saying like I know him, Marty. I usually go against what he has been saying lately because I felt like, oh, whatever. He's just going in on the blockbuster movies, the superhero movies, and such. But I gotta sit back and now, since I've been doing a lot of just writing, reading, and exploring some old classic films and stuff like that. Just trying to tighten my stuff up by doing that. These films are the foundation of what we have now, and some of the stuff he says, I actually I could see why he says that. I don't necessarily agree, but at the same time, I could get with what he's saying. Some of it, not when you just hating and saying like these movies are just whatever. Yeah, but at the same time, now I brought a little more context from reading the article of the struggles that he went through with big budget movies, these just fighting the studios because the studio obviously wants a franchise all the time because they want to make money, and I don't blame them. They want to make money, but at the same time, from a artistic standpoint, you're like, listen, no, this is the movie. Everybody dies. You know what I'm saying? It's Reservoir Dogs. Everybody dies. There is no sequels. So there's a couple other things. We'll talk about that. So our weekend recap is brought to you by BoxOfficeMojo.com. Boy, has the movie theaters been blah, blah, blah the last few weeks. The biggest phenomenon with Barbie and Oppenheimer. After that, everything kind of meaning like not the quality of the movies, but just box office numbers hasn't really been nothing. But anyhow, for the weekend of September 22nd through the 24th, number 5, Speak of the Devil and She Shall Appear, Barbie, still made 3.2 million. Just brought it to 1.80 gazillion dollars. No, it's 1.4 billion dollars of that. Equalizer 3 made $4.8 million, brings it to a worldwide total of $148 million. A Haunting in Venice, 6.3 million, bringing it to a worldwide total of $71 million. That was number 3. Number 2 is The Expendables, or it's just called Expendables with the number 4. Expendafours. I don't know what the hell to call it. Expendables 4. Only made $3 million. And it came not good. I might have lost my volume for a second. I had looked like I had a power surge here. All right. So Expendables did make a lot of money. We'll just say that. Only $8 billion worldwide. That was domestic. It came out on September 22nd this week. It's only made $8 million so far. And The Nun 2 is actually done very well so far. It's done well since it's been out. It's made $204 million worldwide with a. I got a lot of my things are popping up because I had that little power surge. It made 8.6 million over the weekend. So there you have it. There you have it. That is the weekend recap for the weekend of the 22nd to the 24th of September. Oh, yeah. I ain't gonna try to sing. I messed that up. So you're watching Real Talk with the director, Jedi Council. I'm the director. Brought my Jedi Council with me. Don't believe me? Here they are. Wow, Kev, y'all's in the building. What's up?
Expendables did exactly what it was supposed to do. It sucks. Hello, Real Talk listeners. That movie was trash.
You mean it did nothing?
Yeah, well, I mean, $8 million. Gee whiz.
But the movie wasn't. You could tell by the trailer. that the movie wasn't gonna be good, and it's not that it's bad, but you could wait. You they should have went directly to video. I don't know why.
Well, nobody's gonna do that if they have the opportunity to go into the movies, and they're just not gonna do that because it's just not profitable for them. Because they're gonna do that anyway. So you might as well go to the movies and get what you can out of it. And eventually, you're gonna come to streaming anyway.
Well, that's why it only cost me 50 cents to see it. So
Yeah, there you go. All right, that's what's up,
Wow.
man.
Wow. 50 whole cent.
50
Man.
cent. How ironic, because 50 cent is in the movie. How ironic! It only cost you 50 cents to see it.
you see how you could just bad acting just leads to more bad acting, and that's all I'll say about it.
Right.
The action was but bad acting
I mean,
just leads to more bad
but
acting.
I personally go. I don't go to those movies to even talk about or look at the acting. Honestly, I go for the action. That's it. It's popcorn and soda. I don't go to look at. I don't. I have no expectation about the actors in
Well,
that particular
see,
show.
wait a minute. And for this case, I gotta change that because I'm sorry. I just don't believe Megan Fox as some tough ass kicking woman out there. That's an expendable. I just didn't believe it when I first saw the trailer, and I'm sticking by. I just didn't. No.
Okay, so you pick out one person, Megan Fox. Is she even that significant in the film? Who knows? Kev, you saw it, did
Yeah,
you?
Yeah, she is.
and I
So
don't
you don't
believe it.
believe her as an
I
ass
didn't believe it one.
kicking
I didn't believe
person.
it one damn bit when I first saw. I was like, come on, man. That's just be the
But
same way as if you saw
isn't that
the
what
Expendables.
this movie is kind of about? They just kind of start at this point.
No,
They're running out of people at
No,
this
go back.
point.
no.
No. Go back to the first one. Watch the first one, maybe even the second one, and that's where they should have stopped. They should have stopped the franchise.
Well, I mean, we already know that they didn't stop there. But originally, okay, well, Megan Fox is not an action person. These were originally reserved for people who have been in action films in the past, right? If they not haven't been in action films,
No,
maybe they were
no,
gonna be
no,
in
No,
action.
she did an action movie.
no,
Well, she's in the
no. But that,
Transformers.
even with that one, that's not. But even with that one, because Randy
Transformers
Couture is not an
franchise is
action movie,
action.
but
No, but she did a military
no, that's what I'm
action
saying. But
movie.
Randy Couture
Well,
was not an actor at all. It's got to be someone who you sit to say, damn, that could really mess somebody up. Megan Fox, no. Ronda Rousey, yes. If that was Charlize Theron in that role, I would sit there and say yes. So for telling yes, Megan Fox, that's like up there saying, well, the newest member of the Spindle is going to be Tina Fey. No, it doesn't work. No.
That's a little extreme. Tina Fey. Jesus
well, and
Christ.
that's
At least
not
Megan Fox has proven she can do action.
Why running from some Decepticons? Come on, bro. What the hell?
Hey man, you try running from Decepticons. I bet you get caught. I'm just saying. So,
and speaking of this, and that's a good segue for Tina Fey, because she did okay in A Haunting in Venice. I was pleasantly surprised to see her in that. I wasn't expecting her to be in that.
oh, okay. That's what's up.
And it
Yeah.
was good. It wasn't as scary as the trailers make it seem, though.
Yeah, I kind of figured that. I kind of figured it was gonna be that because I looked at it. I think it's like PG-13. So I was like, when I saw the rating, I was like, let's see. But I'm definitely gonna check that out. I'm interested in seeing it anyway. Check that out. But when I said earlier about okay, Randy Couture is not an actor, but these movies originally were reserved for the people that do action films. That's what the whole culture of the Expendables was about.
No, that's still
Cast.
wrong. That's still wrong. No, it's not.
Okay, Ralph.
There.
So you tell me what the
Let's
culture
see.
of it
Let's
was
see.
about.
Randy Couture was not an actor. If you want to sit here and look at the bad guy in the first one, Eric Roberts. No, he's not. He's not a guy really known for action. He's more of a drama guy. Eric Roberts.
He was the
And then
villain.
you throw Stone Cold Steve Austin in there. He's another guy. He's a wrestler. They're built upon the premise of a bunch of people that can really kick your ass. That's why they call expendables, right? So if you're going to say this is our franchise where we got a bunch of people, ex-military people that can go in a situation, wipe out a whole nation, and come out and give each other bump, at least make it believable. The people bring
What
into it.
is No, but that's not what I'm talking about, Ralph. What is 80% of that cast? People that have been in other action franchises or films. 80% of that cast. And then he kept that culture going by bringing people who are known for other action franchises. It is the action franchise for action franchises. That's exactly what it is.
Yes, I can agree, but Megan Fox is not in that category at all. At all.
But she is because
At all.
She did two military movies where she played a soldier. She just did one recently.
And they weren't believable. I know which one. Where I think she was being stalked by some out in the military somewhere. I saw it was a direct to video thing, but it wasn't believable then. What makes you think you're gonna put it with Stallone and all them people, and now suddenly now you're gonna say, yeah, now I believe she's an ass kicker? No. If you know what, if you wanted to put a girl into that,
I think they lean more on that culture, and then of course they give some people some opportunity because So if you want to say, let's give her the opportunity, being that she's not, at least she's done some sort of action. That's just like saying, let's give a wrestler an opportunity because even though he's never acted in an action wrestler, he does action. He's pretty much acting in the WWE. And he's
I could go. But the wrestler got the appearance that the wrestler could really kick my ass. Megan Fox doesn't have that type of thing. When you look at, she looked better than me on a runway.
But you're talking about an appearance. Now, let's be honest. Had we never, if you didn't know that Jet Li is who Jet Li is, he doesn't have the appearance that he can kick your ass.
But but see, that's the problem. But we do.
Yeah, we do. But you're talking about appearance. Appearance means nothing.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying
doesn't mean nothing. Jet Li doesn't have the appearance that he can kick your ass.
That is not. No. That is not what I said. When I meant for the appearance, we have a whole catalog of stuff for Jet Li where you could see, yes, Jet Li could whip my ass, right? We could see that Randy Cruz can, Wesley Snipes, and so on. Every single person that's been in the Expendables got the appearance that they could legitimately whip your ass. Megan Fox does not have that background. She doesn't have that appearance. If you're going to give it a female, you should have gave it to a female that legitimately could have gave you the appearance, like Michelle Rodriguez, that should really beat you up. Not someone that's more known for her relationship with Machine Gun Kelly than beating somebody. No, sorry. That took me.
You sound like a hater, Ralph.
Right
it's
there.
all good. It's all good. I get you. Like I said, I don't go to these films with any of those freaking. I really don't have any expectation when I go to. I just want to see some stuff get blown up.
Let me ask you. So then let me ask you a question. You said you don't go to any expectations because you just turn your brain off and just enjoy the movie, right? So let me ask you a legitimate question. If they do another Batman movie and Pauly Shore is playing Batman, are you going to sit there and be like, hell no? Or you say, oh yeah, let's go check it out?
No, I just you got to remember you got to listen to what I just said. I said, when I go to those movies, right? I'm not going to see Pauly Shore play Batman. So that's not even a question for me. So, if I'm going to go see the movies like that, especially the Expendable franchise, the Fast and the Furious franchise, I don't even really watch those movies anyway. But Expendables more so than Fast and Furious. Fast and Furious at least try to have a little heart behind it and stuff like that. But the Fast and Furious franchise, those type of films, popcorn and soda, turn off my brain. I just want to watch it and see what happens. That's it. That's how I approach those films. And yeah, I'm not saying I disagree with you as far as Megan Fox maybe not being believable, but I'm not gonna base me not seeing the movie on that. I need to see. I have to at least.
Well,
I'm going to see. If anything else, I'm going to go see the movie for the other people that I know that are believable, or the main characters.
Like I had said to you last week, and I should have listened to myself. I should have went and seen Dumb Money instead of seeing Expendables, because that would have been more worth my time. Because I see, you could see bad, you could just see bad acting all over the trailer. It was just not worth.
Yeah. I mean that's cool. I mean, like I said, I'm not really. Well, none of the Expendables movies had great acting. Like I said,
but it was, no, it didn't have great acting, but at least had.
But they were
good
believable.
Acting. Yeah.
Well, what do you define bad acting? What do you mean by bad acting?
I mean,
with these type of scripts don't require a good acting. But go ahead. What's your opinion of bad acting?
You still gotta have some type of delivery. There's no delivery. Everybody's just meh. I mean, Stallone's been doing action for how long?
Everybody's just mad.
It's just meh.
It's like, I just show.
You said meh. I thought you said mad. I thought you said everybody just mad. I'm like,
no, I said everybody just mad. I mean, they might as well. They might as well have been holding the scripts up in front of their faces and saying the lines as they're going through their scenes with the literal script in their hand, because that's what it sounded like.
Well, I don't know, man. I think you being a little Cisco.
I'm not.
Judging the Expendables on their acting.
No, Mr. Robert, please. No, Mr. Robert, please. No, Mr. Robert, please don't rob me. Wait. Please. Oh, it says here emotion. No, Mr. Robert, please don't rob me. No.
That's exactly what it was.
Hey.
That's exactly what it was. It was.
I guess did they blow stuff up? Did things get blown up?
Yeah.
Did anybody get shot? I'm in. So I'm good. I don't care what they did other than that. People got shot. Things blew up. Cars crashed. Whatever.
But if I'm not engaged,
listen. We could say.
Can't.
But by this time, this is number 4. If you're not engaged in the characters by now, you're never going to be engaged, because the main characters are in all of them. That's Stallone's character and Statham's character. Those are the main characters of those films.
And their acting keeps going down with every movie. Jason Statham is starting to get cheesier, even in the Fast and the Furious movies that he was in, with the exception of the first one that he was in. He's just
he was badass in the first one.
I don't know. I'm not sure how y'all judging acting, because guess what? Jason Statham was never a good actor.
No, nobody said he was a great actor, but he was good enough.
But he was a decent actor. He did.
What's a decent actor? What has Jason Statham done that makes you say he's a decent actor? What type of script that has he really done that you can say, oh yeah, he really did a good job there. It's good acting. What movie has he done that no one else could be put in that same position and do just as good a job?
No, that's not fair, because we can say that
first of all, it doesn't matter about anybody else, because I'm not talking about anybody else. I'm talking about specifically him. He's capable of pushing out more. You know, when an actor is just, oh well, here's another one.
I just showed up, get my money, and leave.
Probably, maybe that's what it is. So you just okay, that's cool. I'm still gonna go see it. I mean, that's just really, I don't go see it for that stuff. Honestly, I don't care about the acting. I just want to see if it's bad, it's bad. And if it's really that bad, then maybe that's why it hasn't made no money. So, it
Wait,
definitely
but
doesn't.
wait. But aren't you the same that statement? If it's bad, it's bad. Aren't you the same person that has been grilifying Pattinson for his portrayal of Bruce Wayne and Batman? That
No.
it was just that he wasn't all that. So
Yeah,
once
but
again,
that's the whole thing.
why is that?
That's different.
Why
That's
is that
way
different?
different.
Why
Way
is
different
that?
because that character has
Why?
depth and
Because it's
requires
Batman.
acting. No, because that character requires acting ability and it has depth to it. And I didn't like the way he delivered that particular character. So that's why. It's not the same. I'm not gonna sit there and say, uh so and so is cast as Rambo. He just didn't act like Rambo.
Well, it's same thing. If Paulie Shore, no, brother, yeah, if Urkel was cast as Rambo, you say hold up, because first of all, he don't look believable. First of all, he doesn't look believable.
Well,
He doesn't look
first of
believable.
all,
That's the first
you
problem.
haven't seen Jaleel White lately, so you don't know what he looks like. Second of all, Jaleel White actually at this point he's not no scrawny Urkel looking
He
guy.
ain't,
He
but
actually
he,
has some beef on him. So let's just say Jaleel White did a film, whatever the film was, an action film, and he bulked up and I know he can act. So and he did some sort of
you
film
do.
and he bulked up and did it. So, there you go. I
So
don't
what you
mean I would
so
I might check it out. You never
so
know.
with that saying, you saying what you're saying, if he made himself believable, he could legitimately be a Rambo character
But
if
how do I know
Rambo
if it's
himself.
believable? I don't know if he's believable until I see it.
That's the entire point. When you see the trailer, you're going to see Jaleel White, and then you're going to see if he's got
Yeah.
the appearance of some
Rob,
Vietnam
you're
vet
still on
or
the believable stuff, Rob. I already
it
told
is
you that.
believable.
That's fine if you don't think, but I'm not gonna say she is not the star of the film. Now, if she was the star of the film, then I might say I'm not gonna go see that film because I don't believe her as that. Or if that's what I'm saying. So if she was the headliner star of the film, and she's supposed to be this badass, whatever, and I don't believe it, yeah, then I agree with you. I'm not going to see it. But that's not why she is not. I didn't even know she was in the film, honestly.
I don't know. I don't because I don't know how you
I didn't
didn't
know
know
she was
that,
in the
because
film.
when you see the trailer, when the trailer come on, what she's doing, she's
I saw the
fighting.
trailer once. That was I didn't even peg that for the same movie, to be honest with you.
And to
I
be
saw that
honest with you,
trailer
I
one
just
time. The movie where she's rolling around with Jason Statham, well, she's his girlfriend or something, right? That's the same
that's part
movie.
of
I didn't even
yeah,
realize that. I only saw
yeah.
the trailer once. This
And I
trailer, which is a perfect segue to the rest of the conversation.
and actually
But
she is one of the stars of the movie. Her name is fourth of the
she is
movie.
not
So
the
yeah,
star. She is not the star of the movie. The star of this
she
franchise,
is.
we already know who it is. So just we're in the fourth movie now. If I haven't already liked at least one or two of the first three, I'm not even going to see the fourth one anyway, because proof of that is the Fast and the Furious. I can't even tell you. Uh, I don't even know how many Fast and Furious movies I've seen. I don't even think I don't. I might not even have seen the very first one. I just never got invested in those movies. So because I never did, I didn't go see this one that just came out, the last one. Yeah, the only one I remember is the one with The Rock in it. Like I think it was the first time he appeared in that franchise. I
That's the
remember
fifth
a
one.
little bit of it. Yeah, that's the fifth one, fifth movie. And why did I watch it? Because I'm a
Because The
fan
Rock.
of The Rock. Exactly. So that's why I watched it. I'm a fan of Stallone, so of course I'm gonna try to check it out. I'm gonna check it out. I can care less about Megan Fox. Yeah, I'm not a man. I wouldn't consider myself a Megan Fox fan of her work, acting wise, whatever. So I could care less about her. I'm gonna go see the movie because of mostly because of the first two I liked. Don't even remember the third one, so I guess I didn't like it. And
That was the one where they went from R to PG-13, which was The cast
Oh, okay.
damn good, but you know,
Wow. Oh, they went to PG-13 from R. Okay. Is that the one that had Wesley Snipes in it? The third one?
yes it is.
Okay. Yeah, like I said before, this franchise to me became a fan service of action heroes or former action heroes because that's what they were doing. You saw it, out of nowhere. Oh yeah, it's so and so, it's so and so. You got a chance to see Stallone and Schwarzenegger together in the movie. That's never happened before. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. Those were the little things about the Expendable franchise that I like. Bringing in, there's like the next one was like, who's gonna be in this one? Because they were basically trying to get everybody. And really, Stallone, who's talked about this in the past, he was basically just trying to put a check in everybody's pocket and keep cats that hasn't made movies in years. So that's what I was all bored with. Sly Stallone, like, yo, fuck it, we all, especially even the ones that are like older and not making movies at all anymore. And he damn near got everybody except I don't think he got Steven Seagal. I think they was talking about it at one time that something fell through with that. Steven Seagal never got in one. He got well, we already know Dolph Lundgren. He got freaking even my man Van Damme, all those people giving them checks basically. Come get in this movie, recapture some glory. Even old Chuck Norris got it one. So
You know what? That's a good thing. Chuck Norris got the cold in the stick because he's only in it for 3 minutes. Like, Chuck deserved a little more time in the movie. Like, damn, bro, really?
how do you know Chuck wanted more time? How do you know Chuck could do more time? How do you know Chuck
I
didn't
didn't. No,
have
no,
schedule
I didn't say
conflict?
that. No, I didn't say. I said no. He could have been used. I mean, you only gave the guy 3 minutes. I mean, he could have got a little more. Not.
And
And if
there's a
he,
lot of people that
that's
popped up because then Mel Gibson popped up in it. He didn't really do much, right?
he's the bad guy in the
He
third
was He's the bad
movie.
guy in the third one. Well, who was the one who popped up in it? Was it
Yeah,
Schwarzenegger? Schwarzenegger
Well,
didn't really do much.
It was Bruce Willis. Popped up.
Bruce. Sorry, Bruce
and
Willis
Bruce
popped up.
Willis.
Bruce
Yeah,
Willis popped up. Yeah. Then I mean, like I said, it became at that point, a who's who in action heroes, action films
But I
at
mean,
one point. And then of course you had the new cats that were, the young cats, the new actors, it to me, the franchise served a lot of purposes. It got you the action if that's what you was looking for. You had the classics. I mean, just knowing that Schwarzenegger and Stallone was even gonna be in the same film excited me because these are the type of things throughout the years. If you grow up fans of these guys, you want to see that. You always wanted to see that. So you know, and then so you see, in every version or whatever movie, every part, they did that same formula. You had some classic action hero actors. You had some new action hero actors. Yeah, so there you go. I mean, it's just the
like
same
I said,
formula. So maybe
like
maybe
like,
they
like
maybe they diverged away from this one. Maybe they diverted away from that formula in this one. But we'll see. I'm gonna still check it out.
because even 50, he sucks in these movies.
Mhm. Yeah.
His acting is not good in these movies. I'm just being real. He's just it's
so
not
he's in Kane, huh?
he doesn't there's a certain edge that's supposed to be there, and it's just it wasn't there in none of their characters, with the exception of maybe Stallone, Dolph Lundgren, and the Asian guy who's the villain.
Hmm.
They actually had a little bit even Andy Garcia towards the end. It was like, really, cheeseball. Okay, now
Hmm.
I see why you're not acting anymore.
Hmm. No. Well, I guess it is what it is. So the when I talked about for me, I don't, I didn't see that trailer too many times at all. Another reason why they probably got nobody to go out to see it. Obviously, the main reason that no one is hearing about the film is because the actors are still on strike and they can't promote the films. So you
That's
don't,
one
But
reason.
I think they've been showing this trailer for this movie for at least since I want to say at least since December of last year,
showing it where,
and at
I'm
the
gonna say
theater.
since maybe since like April, May of this year. Yeah, I've been
No,
seeing
where have
that
they
I
been
trailer.
I
showing
first
it?
I first saw that trailer. It was either online or in the movies around December of last year. It was the first time that I saw that trailer.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw that one trailer, the one that Ralph was talking about, where the girl's rolling around with Megan Fox or whatever. That's the only one I saw, I think, of.
Mm.
And then
Yeah,
I saw a TV
that's the
spot.
only one.
I
That's
saw a
the only one
TV.
they've been showing.
Oh,
I mean,
okay. Well, not
second of all, it came out
still
the wrong. It came out the wrong time. This should have came out in August. That's when this should have came out. It should have came out like the dog days of August is when this would have been counter programming to. I'm still gonna say Blue Beetle. It would have been a counter programming to it. It's already established franchise, established
mm,
IP. That would have been time bringing it out. Not in September. September stuff. That's more of the after 90s starts slowly coming out when you get the more serious films. This wasn't the time to be putting this kind of movie into September. It should have been August. It's a summer
yeah.
movie. It's not
Yeah,
it's
it
not a
probably
fall
got
movie.
pushed back too. I'm pretty sure it got pushed back to this. Um, so you'd be surprised how important and somehow much it helps when the actors are actually able to promote the films. They go out, they pop up on Good Morning America. They pop up on, late night shows, whatever. They're out there doing their little thing, going from television show on The View and all of these shows that are watched by a lot of people, right? So you'd be surprised how much that is, hurting uh, some of these films. Good thing that Barbie and all of them was able to get in. That was marketing and merchandising and all that stuff that they did before the strike, and that really helped push it over the edge. I think Barbie would have did well anyway because of the whole experience of people going there and dressing up and all that stuff. I think it still would have did well, but they were able to push it. It got the promotion that it needed to get the word out there. And then they crossed that. It was brilliant for them to cross promote with Oppenheimer. That was brilliant to do that. Good move right before the strike, and they were able to do it. But since the strike,
Wait,
I
wait a
mean,
minute.
I don't.
You want to hear a funny? You want to hear a story real fast? When I was in LA, right when Barbie was out. There was this guy on the corner, right across the street from Ramesh Chinese Theater, selling the Barbenheimer t-shirts. It was a shirt. It had Barbie on it, and in the back it was the mushroom cloud, right? So I was
Mm,
like, oh, I want them shirts. Out of nowhere, the LA police department came over there and arrested the guy for counterfeiting because not the fact that the shirts he made himself, but the actual idea of the Barbenheimer t-shirts were illegal. And Warner Brothers had put some sort of order out that they wanted to stop all sales of these t-shirts. So if you happen to see one, it was actually illegal, which I was like, it's a t-shirt. But since
mm.
the media came up with
Yeah,
that
because they
whole
because
term
they used the
Barbenheimer, and it
IP.
wasn't,
Yeah.
yeah, and it wasn't done by Warner Brothers or Universal, all the t-shirts were illegal. So I could have grabbed one if I was like 5 seconds fast. I would have had one,
You'd have had
but I was
one.
just like,
That
that. That's
you had a part
I
of
would have had one.
history. You'd had a part of history. I mean, yeah, they were definitely cracking down on that because Barbie is such a huge property. when it comes to merchandising, you can't let anybody capitalize off of that. Because that's where, it's gonna be, that's where that's the money maker right there. So I could definitely see them cracking down on that. Some things people don't really sweat, but when it's something like that, like a Barbie, Star Wars, stuff like that, they're gonna crack down on that because the merchandising on that is insane. So it's that's what it is. But these films that didn't get an opportunity, because even Dead what was it, Ghost Protocol, what was the name of the last one? Ghost Protocol or Dead Red? Huh?
No, Dead Reckoning.
Dead Reckoning Part One. Dead
Dead
Reckoning
Reckoning.
Yeah, Dead Reckoning Part One. Um, it took a hit. It took a hit. I mean, it recovered, but it did take somewhat of a hit at the box office because he was not able to really promote it like he wanted to, which is why he had made his, made his claim to, both sides to let them promote it. So those type of films, and then a lot of the films in between that, you have to either be a niche market film, like a horror film or something like that. Those horror films don't take as much of hits because if you're a horror fan, you're a horror fan. It doesn't matter. As long as you hear that it's out, you're gonna go see it. You know what I mean? And then so horror films don't suffer from it as much. But these other films, man, they're definitely taking a little bit of a hit by not being able to have their stars promote their film, promote the film. So I think, I mean, I have to believe, that a model in that model that, like I said, maybe Expendables still doesn't make a ton of money, but I believe they make more than $8 million if Sly was out there promoting the film. So, but it is what it is with that. But with that being said, the writers' strike is now over. They have reached a agreement and a deal with the AMPTP, who represents the studios, and from what they're saying is it's a fair deal. It's something that everyone's happy with. They're excited about it. They were ready to get back to work. So good for them. They got that. They was able to come out of it and get what they wanted or whatever, and they got it. So now going forward, obviously it's a different thing with the actors. The writers can get back to work, but they'll just basically be writing. There's nothing. The Hollywood is still shut down because the actors aren't working. So, but at least it's progress. At least you could now start at the very least. Maybe writers can collab with producers and directors and tighten up scripts and tighten up things and this, that, and the other, and just get everything 100% ready. You can even do your rewrites and stuff like that. Directors can read the script and be like, yeah, we want to change this or we want to do that, whatever the case may be. So you have time to get your stuff together, so to speak. But they were talking about, the writers are going to go back to work. It's not like they go back to work tomorrow. It's going to take at least a week or two because they have to go through the formalities of once the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, then obviously the lawyers got to come in and red line and do this and the other, and then they sign. Once they sign it, they send it out to the members, and then there's like an ratification like vote that goes on afterwards as well. I guess it's like a final process, like, yeah, we're down with this. And they just vote, just like how they have to vote to get authorization to strike, they also vote on this sort of thing as well. And then once that is done, then they can officially go into work. No details have been put out yet. However, some inside chatter. I have two or three friends that or associates that I know that are union writers, and they gave me a little bit of tip. Even they don't know everything yet because the contracts haven't been sent to them, but they do know one of the major things that they were fighting for that they got is the fact that they're able to guarantee a certain amount of human presence in the writers' room. Um, they never, from what I was told, they was never opposed to AI. It's just the fact that obviously they don't want to lose their jobs to AI. So we know AI is not going to be, from the moment when we read I remember I read on air some sentence that people were saying that they don't want to, oh, we want to guarantee that you're not going to use AI. That's never going to happen. We all knew that. It's never going to happen. There's no way that the studios or anybody is going to commit to never using AI. That's just not happening. Now, with them saying, hey, we don't mind using it ourselves for what we need it for. We just want to make sure that we're able to still work and be, included in the writers' room. So they got that. That was what they was looking for. They got a raise in the residual pay from streamers. We don't have the numbers yet, but it's definitely going up a significant percentage. Is a significant percentage that it's going up. I gotta look for that percentage. I had it here before, and I'm like, oh, okay. And let's see. I want to say it was a large percentage that it's going up. But anywho, so they got that, and that's obviously mostly with dealing with the streaming. I think they did get a few, like some up pay of for the television broadcast stuff, but their main concern wasn't that. I think they were getting decent pay when it came to that residual wise. Their thing was obviously streaming. So the fact that they got that out the way and they'll be able to get back to work, hey, that's a good thing for everybody involved. Now we have to see what's going to happen with the actors, and if they're going to, because they haven't even come to the table with the actors. They've been uh, avoiding the actors, so they haven't even come to the table with them. So we'll see. I don't know if it's a case of let's handle one crisis at a time. Um, maybe they think that if they solve this, maybe the actors might bend on certain things. I don't know. Um, or they just, like I said, they might just be taking it one crisis at a time. Say, okay, let's handle this. Now let's get back. Because the bottom line is, you just look at these terrible box office numbers. That's part of the problem for them, and it's affecting. And eventually, it's gonna, affect even more. Like we said before, I mean, Marvel with Disney, they only have the only film that's actually in the can is the film that's coming out at the end of the year. That's the Marvels. Yeah, everything else was either in production or it didn't even start production. So we all know that whole timeline that they gave us, that's not going to happen. Even if they settled it this month, everything's going to get pushed back at least a little bit. Because I think they said, I think Deadpool was supposed to be out in May. That's not happening. It's not happening. Deadpool is not going to be out in May. Not no more. Their original date was, I think, May or June of 2020, whatever, 4 or whatever. That ain't happening. Um, Then there was other films too that was supposedly set to come early next year, stuff like that. That's a whole, thing, but we'll see how that works out. I don't know. I still kind of think that the actors will not settle. I don't think the Screen Actors SAG after strike. I'm not sure if it's going to be settled this year because now you really only this is the window. Remember how Hollywood works, people. We're at the window right now. September, October. After that, you go into the holidays where even when it's a full-fledged running the executives and so they kind of shut down around that time for the holidays. They don't really do much shooting, and filming and stuff like that. They start planning for the next year. So your window is pretty much now, between now and I'll say the end of October. If they can't get it done by then, I don't expect it to be done for the rest of this year. That's just my opinion on it. We'll have to see. And the actors are, we know what they're asking for. Same stuff, but different stuff. Residuals in a different way, obviously. Um, and that's their main concern. They're not as concerned. They're concerned about AI. That's part of the deal, right? But they're not as concerned. What they really want is that bread. Like, yo, give us the money. I don't hear about no AI because at the end of the day, you can't do nothing with my likeness without me signing off on it. So AI is not a big threat to me as an actor. If I'm an A-list actor, AI is not a big threat to me. It's a threat to background actors and stuff like that. It is a threat to them. And the less known actors is a threat to because who knows? They may pull a music industry type of ish where they offer them a certain amount of money to get them to sign off and then they realize they should have never signed off on it, you know. But that's the people that, the unknown actors, whatever, background actors. But they have more, it's a more threat to them than it is to, Denzel Washington. Because they can't do, you can't do a Denzel Washington likeness without his permission, without him suing you. So I got into that associate of mine who does graphics, right? And he does animation, things like that. Got into this not a debate, but he would say like, yeah, I'll just make a guy, I don't have to call him Denzel Washington. I was like, bruh, you can't use Denzel Washington like this. And I don't care if you call him Wenzel Washington. It doesn't matter. If it looks like him, it sounds like him, that's his likeness. So he can it doesn't matter what the name is. He's like, yeah, but they can't I'm like, bro, trust me, they can. You can come after somebody for using your likeness, even if they don't use your name. So, and I mean, Denzel Washington's likeness is a brand in its own, in itself.
And depending on how you use that likeness, is not
Mm.
only can they come after you for that, they can come after you for defamation of character. It's
Yeah.
so much stuff they
Yeah,
can.
depending on how you use it. Yeah, because if you use it, if you if you use it and he's like, a pedophile, you know, wait a second, I would never take a role like that, Wait, wait, you made me a pedophile up in here, Oh yeah, exactly. So there's a new, yeah, we'll keep everybody posted on the strikes, but I just saw this right before we actually before we aired. So of course everyone is in an uproar, especially the conservatives. But the a new show, well, it's not new, but it's new to HBO. Show called Naked Attraction is a dating game show that is where people will pick their dates based on it's full frontal nudity. People they're in like cubes, right? And I'm gonna put this image up on the and no, it's not nothing graphic, people, so don't worry. But so the people in images, like they're in these cubes or boxes, whatever. They look like almost like action figure, like in a box. Like, no. So this is how they're presented in the game show, and the contestant is going to, I guess, judge them on their physical appearance, naked physical appearance, right? It says here. So now let's just also. This is a UK show. Well, it was a UK show, or it is a UK show that, of course, as Hollywood in the US always does, they steal, not steal, but they take that because they're not creative enough. They take a show from the UK and Americanize it, put it over here. They've been doing that for years, but for decades. But so this was a game show that's been on for like 6 seasons in the UK, and now HBO Max is bringing it to HBO. It says here the streamer has imported 6 seasons. So that's all they're really doing there. They're not even making an Americanized version of it. It looks like they're just showing it. They're just like rebroadcasting it. So that's I guess that's fine. Um it says start where a good date often ends. That's the slogan. Naked. That's funny. Start where a good date often ends. Naked. And then in each episode, a single chooser, quote unquote, critiques and eliminates 6 potential dates standing on the stage by scrutinizing their fully nude bodies, which are gradually revealed one part at a time. Faces are revealed last. It says when only 2 potential dates remain, the chooser strips out of their own clothes too, giving the remaining 2 contestants the opportunity to critique them. The final couple then go out on a date with their clothes on.
This is, I swear to God, why? Why? I mean, why?
Yo,
Why are we talking about this?
this is hilarious to me, yo. No, the reason why I'm talking about it because of course, here come the outragers. So what do they say? It says here, but many have defended the show, despite the nudity, it isn't supposed to be titillating or dramatic or anything. The contestants are just normal people with normal flaws. Right. So where's the outragers? Where does it say here? But I was reading, it might have been another article I was reading. But it's conservative watchdog group, the Parents Television Council slammed HBO Max for adding the show to its service. Naked Attraction should not exist on the Max streaming platform, and HBO should immediately remove an exploitive pornographic program. The group said in a statement released on Monday, Max is mediocre parent controls, enabling children to access some of the most explicit streaming content on the market. And you're worried about this show? There are many shows that these
Hey,
kids can be watching on
I
HBO
got a
Max.
better I got a better question. Forget HBO Max for a minute. What makes, despite the content or context of the show, what makes this show any different than Naked and Afraid?
That's what I was about to say. Yeah, other than the context, I thought that was brought up somewhere too. There's no doubt that children will be able to easily access naked attraction. The purpose of which is to shock and titillate the audience with uncensored and explicit nudity. Now we don't know if it's uncensored. That's number one. We haven't seen the show. I doubt that they just straight show it straight nude. Maybe, who knows? I can't. You never know in today's day. But And then a new low for HBO. It says a new low for HBO. The show fully exploits its own participants, somehow convincing them that their exploitation for the purpose of dating is right and good. These are consenting adults, by the way.
Here's what I want to say about this. First of all, HBO has always done stuff like this since its inception. There's always been something weird on HBO. But that aside,
What makes
but but
this
that,
any good? Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. I
but
want to
but but but,
finish your
but,
point.
but that aside, these are grown people who decided to go on TV and do
Mhm.
this. So how is it exploitive? You
Yeah,
know what you're walking into. If somebody tells you, "Hey, listen, I want you to be on my game show, and I need you to get naked so people can
yeah.
judge you."
So people can judge you. Exactly. You get come on the show. And they say HBO has now lifted its veil in revealing that it is and always has been a pornography channel. It's like I said,
And here,
you
And
want
that's
here's my
and to be
you
honest
want
with
to
you, that's
slam the
not
show
true.
because it's stupid. You want to slam the show because it's a stupid idea. Fine. Or if you think that's a stupid idea, that's just like me. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't like stupid ideas. I hate, and I use the word hate with a passion. I hate the Masked Singer. I think it's a stupid idea, but people love the show. What are you gonna do? They love the show. I think the show is stupid. I think the idea is stupid, and I never watched it because I think it's dumb. So that's what it is. Now they're talking
but,
about because of Naked and Afraid. I
but
never
here's
watched that
but here's
either. I
but
thought
here's my
that idea was stupid. You
And
know?
HBO is not porn. And HBO was
Yeah.
never. If you want to talk about what's porn, Cinemax, Showtime.
Cinemax. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean
Skinamax.
Cinemax.
Skinamax. Listen, the bottom line is this. They're talking about HBO has the any kids can get in and watch this show, but they're not having sex on this show. But kids watch uh the show with Zendaya, where portrayed kids, they're adults in real life, but portrayed high school kids are having sex, hardcore sex in these shows.
But
So
but I got a
and
different.
they caught hell
I got
too.
another.
They
I got
caught
another.
hell too.
But I got another
Yeah.
question. And maybe I'm a little late to the party. Isn't HBO a channel that you actually have to order and subscribe to? I mean, do or do you not? You buy
Yeah.
a television, you get 2, 4, 5, 7. So, by
Yeah.
all intents and purposes, you have HBO and you're worried about, you can always cancel your subscription,
You
right?
cancel it. Yeah, exactly. Just cancel HBO. Because even if you just have the app, you still have to subscribe to it. So if you're worried about your kids watching it, you're that worried, cancel it. Cancel the subscription. Or how about just do better at parenting? Don't let your kids watch it. You know? So I don't know. Whatever. But I don't think it's warranted. The reason why we're even talking about this is because once again, this whole outrage is it's the same type of stuff that people, every time something comes out, people want to go and trash and go at these places. This is a show that's been in the UK for 6 seasons. So it's HBO didn't make this show up. It's not HBO
Yeah, but
And
original.
see,
no, and nowhere, and
here's
nowhere, and
but here's the thing. Here's the thing with
and
right
like this, and
is
like
that
this. I'm sorry, Ralph. Go ahead.
no, I was about to say because I can speak on this because in Europe, see, this is the problem between Europeans and Americans. Europeans don't
Mhm.
have these hangups about sex. They just
No,
don't. You're
they
you're
don't.
going to you're going to do
Never
it.
will.
It's the old adage, and I tell this to people all the time. It's like when we all of us little boys, right? And
Mhm.
somebody older than us said, "Hey, Wes, Kev, or Ralph, don't play with fire." Your first instinct is, "Why can't I?"
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
They just tell you, don't play fire, don't do this. Why can't I? Why can't I? So over here in the US, we tell people don't have sex. First question, why can't I?
Mhm.
Why is it so bad? Oh, Europeans saying, hey, listen, we're going to have sex. All we're saying is do it in moderation. Don't come out the house and start having sex on your front lawn, but in the comfort of your home, do what you want to do. Just be responsible, right? This game show, there are a bunch of things that I personally saw when I was living in Germany. I tell people all the time, Skittles commercial is the most graphic commercial you will ever see in your life, right? Where the guy is having sex with his. For those of you that have never seen it, you can go find
I
YouTube.
seen it.
This guy is having sex on his wedding night with his wife, and he says, "Let's taste the rainbow." And he orgasms on her face, and it all comes out. All these
Skittles.
The candies, right?
Yeah, so all comes out of
Skittles come on her face, but
he literally ejaculates Skittles onto her face.
Right, but Skittles onto his wife's face.
Yeah.
But you're not going to see that on Monday Night Football in the United States because parents say, oh my God, ABC, ESPN, how dare you're pushing the sexual. No, it's a commercial. That's all it is. I'm not pushing nothing. It's a commercial. But we here in the U.S. are so uptight about the idea of nudity, the female body.
Yeah, go ahead, Kev.
Just get over it, people.
But meanwhile, your daughter's giving blowjobs in a high school stairwell. But I digress.
Right. Yeah. Meanwhile, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Meanwhile,
like Little Wayne said, she's giving good brain like she graduated from a good school.
Meanwhile,
you worried about what they're showing to the rest of the world, but you ain't handling your business
at home. But not only that, not only are you not handling, well, you're handling your business at home some, but your method of contraception is let them come in your face. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I should have said that YouTube. I apologize, I take that back. But I don't understand this blatant just and it's mainly because we don't have separation of church and state is the reason why we don't truly have the separation. We have it, but we don't truly have it, and that's why America is so. You go to any other country, boobs is just like a woman walking around with her boobs out is like a guy walking around without a shirt off. It's the same thing.
No big deal.
But America is. I'm sorry. I take back what I. No, I don't take back what I said. America is so hypersexualized and so hyper moralized that nothing flies. But meanwhile, your kid could be on TV in front of your TV playing Grand Theft Auto, raping and killing people.
Raping and killing people, shooting people up, and then actually they'll go out and do it in real life. Then they go out and do it in real life, but that's okay. Shooting people, left and right is okay, but we can't. You can't show a game show with naked bodies on it. Like, really? I think we just worry about the wrong stuff. That's what's going to corrupt our kids. That corrupts our kids. If kids are not watching it, how's it corrupt them? Even if kids are watching it, that's going to corrupt them. Yeah, it's too much.
I'm sorry to say this, but some of you hicks out there in Middle America that take your little 8-9-year-old child out to a gun show. Here, Betty, you need to learn how to protect yourself at 9. So you put a 45 Glock in hand, and then you do that. And what do? You go and take your iPhone. You take a picture of Betty with this Glock in her hands. As the gun is too bigger than her arm. Say, this is my American pride. These are my civil liberties. These are my rights. No, but nudity. Oh my God, we gotta stop the world because you're naked, right?
Yeah.
Kev is absolutely right. In Europe, nobody cares. Women walk around in hearts with their breasts out. Over here, you gotta have an act of Congress. Remember a couple years ago Two girls that I know that in the adult business will walk around New York City topless, right? The police came and was getting ready to arrest them and said, "Oh, it is legal to walk around New York City topless." The cops had to look it up and say, "You know what? You're right. You're right."
Carry on.
But why did it take all that stuff? Because they would walk if they were because maybe because they were two very attractive women. If they were two beasts, or society would say were ugly looking women and walk around with their tops off, nobody would have said nothing. But because now it's on Times Square is gawking at them. Oh, now we're saying it because now this is wrong. People, cut it out. Cut it out. This I've seen Naked and Afraid. I think the concept is dumb. It's beyond dumb. Because if you're really in survival mode, you're not out there in the middle of the forest with no clothes on. You're just not.
Number
You're just
one,
not.
number
Let's be.
one,
But
number one,
hey, people
you're
watch it.
walking around trying to make sure you don't step on nothing and poke your feet.
I
Later,
know.
later, listen. Later
They
for
walk around like
later,
they got nights on.
yeah, later for my penis hanging out. I'm worried about my feet.
I'm worried
Am
about
I
my
going?
damn feet.
I try not to bust my feet open.
Yeah. Stepping on some shit. Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, once again,
Exactly.
I've never seen an episode of Naked and Afraid because I think the concept was dumb, so I never watched it. So I mean, same here. If you don't think the
I
show,
turned. I
instead
was
of
flipping
going
through the channel
crazy,
one
just
night.
don't
I was
watch it.
flipping through the channels one night and it came on.
Hmm.
I was flipping through the channel one night and I literally going channel by channel and I saw this and I was like, "What the hell? What the hell is this?" We're out there in Zamunda, right, in the rain season, and all I got to protect myself is a piece of a stick. But I got no clothes on. Wait a minute. I'm naked. I'm naked in
And you're
Zamunda jungle
afraid.
during the rain season with female. Both of us got no clothes on. It's pouring down, raining, and we trying to figure out how to light a fire. Not cut, but we can't color each other for body heat because it could happen. But we
Right.
can't have that shit. But that's on A.
Yeah.
Right. I'm like, come on,
I'm
folks.
afraid in the
Let's be
forest
real.
with clothes. I'm afraid in the forest with clothes on. So I know Naked and Afraid.
I
I'd never be afraid. I'm
terrified
afraid
if
of
I'm out
clothes
there with
on.
I got no shoes.
Mm-mm.
But think about it. I
No
got
way.
no shoes, no jacket, no drawers, and all I got to protect me is a stick that I figure out how to build a shed, how to eat, how to protect myself from the elements, and I ain't even thought about the idea of being eaten by a damn gorilla or antelope or a mountain lion, and all I got is a stick, and I'm
or even
naked,
or even
and yeah,
worse.
I'm afraid.
Or even
I'm
even
naked and
worse
proud. I'm naked and proud.
right, a gorilla try to mate with you.
I got wait a minute, and this is the funniest part. You know how but right,
Oh my
but that's the funny. You know how you went. You know how you how to leave. You have to go X amount of miles somewhere to get to this rally point, right? So I'm naked with shoes on, no, and I got a stick, but I climb this mountain to get to my rally point. I can say I made it, and now I'm standing there with my penis out the top of this mountain that I just climbed up with no shoes on. But one day I say, wait a minute, why are my feet bleeding? Because I ain't got no damn shoes.
That
You
is
can't make no
funny.
shoes out of a leaf. What the hell?
Hey man, what did Adam and Eve do?
But I survived.
Adam and Eve did it, so I guess we have to figure it out. So, all right, so let me get to Martin. So Martin Scorsese, we've already know he's been in the news period before about whatever his opinions on blockbuster movies, comic book movies. Well, mostly comic book movies, not per se blockbuster movies. But the comic book movies have pretty much been blockbuster movies, most of them for the most part, especially the Marvel ones. But and it says there's one article that said Martin Scorsese says fight back against comic book movie culture by supporting directors like Christopher Nolan. Uh, we gotta save cinema, and then he says Martin Scorsese is another one. An impact on Hollywood blockbusters on cinema. Well, the industry is over. So I'm just reading a couple of excerpts out of the Hollywood Reporter. You know, he has a film coming out called The Killers of the Flower Moon. And
4 hours long.
hmm
4 hours long.
Yep. Because
Four.
he did that with Apple. He made that with Apple. So it's going to go in the movies. They're gonna have a wide movie release before it has a release on Apple TV Plus. Which is what I thought the Snyder Cut should have did, but Warner Brothers was only going to give them so much rope, so much. It would have been great to have the Snyder Cut go in the theaters and then go on to HBO Max, but forget about that. So Martin Scorsese says Martin Scorsese is especially happy with Hollywood effect-driven popcorn movies have done to the film industry. He helped pioneer with iconic box office hits such as Taxi Driver and Mean Streets. Well, the industry is over, Scorsese told GQ magazine, conducted ahead of his release of his film. In other words, the industry that I was a part of, we're talking almost 50 years ago. It's like saying to somebody in 1970 who made silent films, what do you think's happened? And then he says, skip down here. Scorsese added that major studios preferring easier to market popcorn movies that have franchise potential no longer have an interest in supporting individual voices that express their personal feelings or their personal thoughts and personal ideas and feelings on a big budget. And what's happened now is that they've pigeonholed it to what they call indies, right? Where it's basically saying, okay, so now films that are based on personal expression, feelings, thoughts, whatever, has now been kind of played off as indie films because they're no longer going to put uh, big money into these films. They rather put the big money into the popcorn and soda films, and so are the action films, the blockbuster franchises. That's what they want. Veteran Hollywood director assisted superhero popcorn movies that depended heavily on special effects or what he referred to as manufactured content no longer represents cinema. It's almost like AI making a film. And that doesn't mean that you don't have incredible directors and special effects people doing beautiful work or beautiful artwork. But what does it mean? What does these films? It says what are these films? What do they give you aside from a kind of consummation of something and then eliminating it from your mind, your whole body? Who knows? It says. So what is it giving you? Scorsese said. And then I'll skip down to the end where it says, so the Hollywood director recalled wrestling with disgraced, now imprisoned film producer Harvey Weinstein over the length and budget of his 2002 passion project, Gangs of New York. Said, I realized that I couldn't work if I had to make films that way ever again. If that was the way I had to make films, then I'd rather stop. And he said, because the results weren't satisfying, it was at times extremely difficult, and I wouldn't survive it if I had to do it again. He said, and so I decided it was over, really. And then he says his creative juices were thwarted again with the 2006 drama The Departed, where Warner Brothers asked if one of the two movie leads, Leonardo DiCaprio and Matt Damon, if one of them could live. What they wanted was a franchise. It wasn't about a moral issue or a person living or dying. Scorsese said he just wanted to keep one alive so they can do a franchise. And then it says here, and that's pretty much it. He's got his film coming out, Killers of the Flower Moon. I did see a trailer for that in one of these films that I went to. It's set for October 20 nationwide release. Date with Apple in partnership with Paramount. So I guess that's how it's getting out into the theaters. Planning a wide global theatrical release ahead of a streaming launch on Apple TV Plus. Obviously, Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro, Lily Gladstone are in the leads of that film about an FBI investigation of a series of murders on the Osage people that took place in Oklahoma. Oklahoma again. Oklahoma always somebody always getting killed in Oklahoma. Took place in Oklahoma in the early 1920s. So that's what the film's about. So basically, he's talking about the studios have pretty much given up on putting a certain amount of money into films that are not like franchisable, I guess. Nothing that they can continue to make money over. So of course they'll put some money into horror. I won't even use horror because horror for the most part doesn't cost a lot of money to make most of the time. But they'll put the money in the horror because that's franchisable stuff. Obviously the action, big blockbuster films, the Expendables of the world, but maybe not Expendable 4. I don't know how much money they put into that, but the blockbuster films, of course, the superhero comic book films that require a lot of special effects to even happen, right? So that's what he was talking about. Ralph, you had bought one of those. This is the exact article that I read that you put into the room, but it deals with the same type of topics of what he's talking about. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm kind of going with what Mark Scorsese is saying in this case. I think he's absolutely right that what's going to happen if you keep with the way it is that it's all right. It's like I'll tell people I have a drawer full of DVDs, right? And two of the DVDs that I haven't seen yet are two movies that came out this year. One is Joyride, which I heard is really funny, and the other one is called No Heart for Jennifer Lawrence, which I also heard was really funny. They kind of got pushed to the side, despite having good cast for the traditional summer blockbuster movies, and it seems like those are the ones that the push the notifications, the promotions, the press, but smaller films don't. And I think if you continue down that path, like I saw a video saying, well, under the current Hollywood model, this is the time for independent filmmakers to come up. But then again, you can't because independent filmmakers don't have the kind of budget to really sit back and make a movie, say $2 million and put out and get a $500 million gross. You just don't. You need a bone thing to make it happen. And even independent filmmakers that were independent are now mentioned, like a Spike Lee or even a Robert Johnson when they first came out. That's a model back in the 80s and 90s. There's very few films come out today that have an independent director, cast. However, it brings back really big box office results on the equivalent of what FX laden movie does. Is very few that I can legit. Maybe there is. I just can't think of any. And when you do, then you're no longer independent. You're a mainstream, like a Ryan Johnson, who goes from an independent project now time Hollywood director. You go from your small independent movie to now you're Rogue One. It's a big jump, but Rogue One is not an independent film. That's a major film.
It's a major film. Yeah.
So while I may not know what Scorsese has said in the past about the quality of comic book movies, superhero movies, I put it because it is art. But on this particular subject, I think he's absolutely right. It does set a thing where now, unless you're going to make this movie and it's already something that's an established property, or if it's got to have a whole lot of special effects, because people want to see special effects, they want to see, somebody flying the sky or something like that. The smaller projects that And I would even say like a lot of movies that the three of us have watched that
Yeah.
we would generally go back and rewatch.
Mhm.
I would say at least were something of a smaller nature for whatever reason, whether it made us laugh, made us think, whatever. But it wasn't some 500 million grossing movie or the $200 million budget movie. It was something that might have been like 20 million bucks that we just sit back and love. And when it come on TV, we'll sit there, whether it's cable, regular TV, or streaming, and we see it's like, oh no, I'm gonna look at that movie because it just brings that back, right? So
Mm.
that's my thought. I think this Scorsese is right. I think it does set a bad
He's
precedent.
no, he's in my opinion, he's not right. He's semi right because this has always been the Hollywood way. This has always been the Hollywood business model since the '60s. It's always been the Hollywood business model. Ain't nothing changed. The only thing that changed is the fact that he can't get a new idea under his belt to get pushed out. Now this last movie he did is kind of intriguing because it's based on actual events and something that actually happened, and it's kind of outside of the preview of his mobster quote unquote movies that he normally does.
Mhm.
I mean, if he would get a new idea, I mean, there are people out there that are doing from horror on down who are doing new things, doing different things, and yeah, they might not be getting the budgets of because their films might not require that type of budget in order to make that kind of film. I
Mhm.
mean, take it all the way back to the '80s with Superman. I mean, take it all the way back to the '70s with Jaws, The
Right.
Exorcist. Nothing has changed about the Hollywood business model. The Hollywood business model has always been the same. How many of these movies there are going to be
Can we get
popcorn
out of it?
movies? Yeah. How much money can we get out of it? Whether it be a popcorn movie, and the
Mhm.
best way to do it is, okay, can we spend 15 million and make 300 million?
Well, yeah. Well, now they know that that's not a possible thing when it comes to, let's just say, the comic book movies, because those movies rely on special effects, and there's no way you're
But it
making
also
a
depends
$20
on
million
but
dollar
again
movie.
but it also too depends on how the story is told. How the audience is captured, word of mouth. There are a lot of things that come into play. He's just
Well, I
making
mean,
it
yeah,
seem like,
but it just means more money. That's what I mean as far as like the budget goes. And you got to talk about that. The marketing budget has to be there. Everything has to be more bigger when it comes to those type of movies, obviously. Um, what he said about now, what I agree with him on is, like I said, whether it's new or old, the to the point of, okay, can we get a franchise out of this? Can we, make I will use comic book movies since that's the, one of the topics that he's talked about. Obviously, those are franchisable, if that's even a word, movie movies, and just like his example with The Departed. Yeah, Warner Brothers asking him, "Can you make one of the character? Can you let one of the characters live so we can try to make some more money out of it?" you know, and make it Departed 2 and this and that and franchise. Now we know Scorsese has
but
never been that type of director anyway, where he wants to tell individual stories, and that's
and
it.
listen, there's nothing wrong with that. But again,
Yeah.
this is not for him. For him to say this, I put it like this: this article needs more context because somebody who doesn't know, somebody who's not my age, who
Hmm.
doesn't know, can take what he's saying and be like, oh, well, he has a good point because yeah, that's all Hollywood does. But meanwhile, Hollywood has been doing this since the '50s, even before that. I mean, let's start up which the main thing Hollywood started off doing with was with the horror franchises. The Wolfman. How many different iterations of Dracula? Brides of
Hmm.
Dracula.
Yeah. Everything.
Hollywood has
Yeah.
been doing this since forever.
Forever.
Since
Yeah.
forever, and especially once Alfred Hitchcock came into play and he started doing stuff. Then you had those type. Then that's when you had your period of serious movies, and then
But
the
the
'70s came
difference, I
along.
think, the difference with the horror
But
films
I don't.
is they never had to really put hundreds of millions of dollars into making horror films. That's the whole reason
No,
why people
but
do
that
horror
but
films.
the point. You know what? The money doesn't matter. What and I don't mean to say negate that. What I'm saying is the concept of a franchisable film has always been Hollywood's niche.
Yeah, but
Right.
I don't think that's what he's saying. What I think he's sitting there saying is this: is that if you as Hollywood is only dealing with something that they're going to immediately have a franchise, or lucrative sequels, whatever, then the smaller movies that may be like a one and done don't get made because we got to worry about simply pushing out the blockbusters. So like let's take Scorsese. He from what you say, he said, well, if we use the model that he's talking about, while he could have got the part, he could have turned around and kept Damon or DiCaprio. We never would have got Raging Bull or Taxi Driver or The King of Comedy. So all those other small movies that he did all them years that we love him for after hours
Okay.
never would have got done. I think that's what
Oh,
he's saying. You know what I'm
no,
saying?
but that's still BS. And here's why. Because how many years? I mean, from the year the Matrix came out, we can start going off by year by decade of how many years there were blockbuster movies out and there were smaller films out, or at the same time there were blockbuster movies out that flopped, and then there were movies that nobody was even paying attention for or looking for that ended up blowing up.
Well, I think what I'm gonna add to it is this. I think where you're 100% right, Kev. This model is not new, and Martin Scorsese shouldn't act like it's brand new, because it's not. The model of it is not new. What is different now than before? You've always had your franchise films, you've always had your blockbuster films, but in the middle of all that, you still had a reasonable amount of light shined on your cinema films. I call them cinema films. These are like the cinematic, the type of films that we were talking about, the smaller films, the ones that win Oscars. Because let's be honest, I don't care how long this model has been in place, those aren't the films that win Oscars. The ones that win Oscars are the cinematic films, right? The ones that are talking about an individual thought, an individual purpose, an individual whatever. It's not just about blockbusters. It's not just about franchises. You'll be hard pressed to find franchise films, blockbuster films that win Oscars, right? There's a few, but it's not as much. So
Far between. Far between.
few and far between. So now, other than the Oscars, there, in the last 10 years or so, those type of films have kind of fallen to the wayside, and not forget about the fans. It's not about the fans. It's about the studios, that what they're willing to put the money into, the push, the backing. I mean, look how long that the film with him, the film he did with De Niro, that film was on the shelf. That film almost never came out. The what was that called? The Irishman, right? That film was on the
Yeah.
shelf. It had to be bought from Paramount or whatever by Netflix. Netflix bought it from Paramount to whatever. So what I'm saying is, there's, and if you think about it, just think about this. In the last 10, maybe even 12 years, other than the ones that are shine the light on the Oscars have become basically a marketing point for a lot of films that you may have not known was even out, because the other films, they're not being pushed. And that's not the fans, because the fans are going to go see it if they They know it exists, or that it's being pushed.
You know about it.
Yeah, you got to know about it. It's not so. I'm not gonna say like because obviously comic book movies in particular are for fans. That's what it's for. Period. And not even comic book fans, just fans. People are fans of that character, fans of that whatever, right? They obviously franchise stuff, and that's what that is. But fans that even go see those movies, a true movie watcher don't even have to be they don't have to be as seasoned, I'll say, as us, right? Because I always like to take us out the equation because we should never judge people against us because we're different, right? When it comes to this stuff. So when I talk about the people that are not us, they will if a movie is marketed properly and they say, well, they're gonna go see it. They're gonna go see the blockbuster comic book franchise movie, kind of like what Martin said in that article. Take that with them, lock it away, put it away, and probably catch it when it comes out on DVD or catch it when it comes out on streaming. Maybe watch it a couple times and catch. Then that's that. But they'll also go see the cinematic movie. You know what I'm saying? The ones that are that with that are not the non-franchise movies, the ones that are based on
Mhm.
individual thought, individual. They're gonna go see it, but they
Yeah,
gotta
they will
know
go
it's out
see it.
there. Yeah,
But they find out that it's out there. Most people, a lot of people, even now, see, like I said, context, because we live in a different age now. A lot of people stream stuff, so people aren't watching TV and seeing commercials like they used to. That's part of the reason
hmm
why most studios don't do as much marketing for films with trailers for the most part as strongly as it used to be, because it used to be everybody watched television, so all eyeballs would be able to see the commercial for The Exorcist
yeah.
or the
But,
commercial for Jaws or ET or whatever the
right.
case may be. Nowadays, everything is pretty much 9 times out of 10, whether it be streaming or in the film. Most times, people catch on to stuff is because of word of mouth. Like,
Yeah,
yo,
because of word of mouth. Yeah,
the
I
water
agree.
cooler, the water cooler at work. Like,
Yeah,
yo,
yeah,
did you check Bird Box?
yep,
What? The hell is a
exactly.
Bird Box?
Bird Box, exactly. That's a perfect example, Kev, that you put out there. But what I'll say is this: now with the new way that people are promoting a lot of those films, a lot of them, unless they do go viral, because this is the new way. That's the new way of marketing now. Something that goes
Mhm.
viral, it has a viral moment, right? Like Jenna Ortega said, she knew. Well, actually, Netflix knew that that dance that she did in Wednesday was gonna go viral. They knew it, and she was like, nah. But they knew that it was going to go viral, which intends brings back views. Then the other way of things kind of going viral, helping is, a lot of these movies, it's mostly the blockbuster movies that people are talking about online. The people are doing reaction videos to them. They're doing. You got the scoopers, the new rock. Shout out the new rock stars, Eric Voss, the new rock stars of the world. Everything always, all those people, those scoopers, they only cover the blockbuster movies and mostly the comic book movies. That's all they cover, really. Because, they're in a business of clicks and likes. So I don't blame them for covering that. I'm just
But
saying
not, but no,
that's
no,
all they
wait,
really
and
cover.
even that you got to give some context too, because it's not just clicks and likes, but it's also that's their passion, that's their love.
Right. No, that's their passion. That's what they cover. I get it. Yeah, I do that. But I'm just saying they're not covering the smaller films. So they also help films, these films, because like you said, there's not really stuff coming on the on TV anymore. The trailers are out there on the internet for you to watch, but how do you know they're out there? Because you got people talking about them, like you just said. But this is a different type of word of mouth. There's a digital word of mouth where people are doing, oh, the new Marvel MCU trailer dropped. I'm gonna do a reaction video to it. That right there is, you got thousands and sometimes millions of people that are getting wind of this film because this person is doing a reaction video to it. So my point is, I do agree with him that the studios are figuring like, well, you know, they're not really going, because things gone are those days of the films of like the type of films that he makes. We already talked about that. The one that he's got coming out now is right. The one with De Niro and what you call it was like 3 hours and some change. The Irishman, right? Uh, requires money because you have actors that require to be paid. These are A-list actors. Martin Scorsese pretty much only works with A-list actors, right?
And
So,
not just that it's A-list actors, but also because it's a period piece. Period pieces
oh
cost
yeah,
more money
period
to.
pieces, and he does that a lot. He does period pieces a lot. Same deal. You got the Coppola, same deal. Those that whole group of people, Coppola, Francis Coppola, Scorsese, Spielberg. I mean, Spielberg can do a block, but he could walk both worlds if he needs to. And he could do the blockbuster franchise film, and then he's gonna do something like the Fablemans. You know what I mean? Like that's like more of a passion project, and whatever the case may be. So he's like, okay, I'm gonna do my blockbuster joints, and I'm gonna do my cinematic joints. That's gonna get me my Oscar nominations and Oscar wins. So,
So
uh,
so
it-
so really, Marty's problem is really a him problem because it's not
well,
a
I mean, it is a him problem in a way, but I mean, it's just he's gonna make films that he wants to make, right? He's not gonna force himself to make films in a
and,
specific genre or
but
type
but
of film
but
if that's
but
not what he wants to make.
and not only that, but and
I,
what I
I don't I
what I
don't I
mean
don't think that's a him problem. It's not a
no,
him problem.
wait, let me clear up what I
He
mean by a him problem. It's a him problem because his his core demographic are basically either dead or dying off. The
Uh,
people that can really relate outside of our age bracket, the people that really can relate to some of the stuff that he's really pushing still, reaching
mhm.
back into time and bringing forward,
But is that a
ain't
him
really.
problem or is that just a
No,
human
that
problem?
no that's a it's a him problem because he doesn't really branch out
I
outside
just
of that.
But I mean, why should he if he doesn't want to? I mean, you're a
I
filmmaker.
disagree with
You're
that.
supposed to
It is
make
not a
what
him
you want to
problem.
make.
He
Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, but I don't think this. I don't think he. I don't believe this is a him problem. He's looking at the overall situation. Whether it's him or Cameron or whoever. Let's say Cameron wanted to make it where it made because it was a smaller project that he wanted to make. Well, studios could say, well, listen, unless we can get 4 sequels out of it and we'll kick the budget to $100 million, then you can't. We're not interested in it, right? James
No,
Cameron
I,
might
I
be
think
someone that could make $1 million and it turns into a $600 million project. I think at the core, what he's simply saying is that if Hollywood only wants to make blockbuster movies where they automatically know they're going to get a return, they automatically know it's going to be a franchise, then small movies that that's sitting there will not even get looked at anymore. Like everything
but
is gonna come out. It's gonna be something. It's gotta cost $200 million and put in the 2,500 theaters. So the smaller movie that may cost $10 million, right? That's super great with a great cast or whatever. It's not going to get a look at because they're saying, well, it has no potential because it's not giving us $200 million on paper. It don't look like a $200 million movie. So I think that's
but again,
what he's saying is that
that
this
goes
is
back
that
to what I said.
Yeah.
But again, that goes back to what I said. Nothing has changed about Hollywood. Hollywood is still the model that it's always been. The only thing that has changed is
but
the audience. That's
But that the
No,
audience has definitely
no.
changed as far as
the audience.
Marvel, but it's definitely changed. I agree there. But where Hollywood itself has changed is exactly what he's talking about. They're shifting priority to certain things because of it's bottom line
But
or
they've
whatever.
always done that.
No, they haven't always. There's always been a light. That's
No,
what I said.
no,
That's
they
what I said when I
haven't.
agree with you. There's always been there, but there's always been a certain light shined upon these type of films. Because look at any of these films that these guys made, from The Godfather to whatever. There's a certain type of type of light that always shined on those type of films because people still wanted to go to the movies and see great films. They wanted to go to movies to see actors that they were just fans of, right? So you got, you've always had, there's two different types of real audiences, right? You got audiences that were just fans of specific actors. You had audience that was fans of specific filmmakers. So those types of films always they were never overpowered by the blockbuster films like they do now. That's the difference because you still would have went and seen one of those other type of non-blockbuster films. And yes, where like I said, where I agree with you and think 100% right is yes, they've always been into putting money into franchise. They've always wanted franchise films because that's what they, bottom line. That makes money. So let's see how much we can get out of this. But they have also in the past have always made sure that the other non-franchisable films, but that may have the A-list actor, the proven director, and they are great films, great film pieces of cinema that have been regarded as that for years and years. Those
Yeah, and I
always
think
had a special light on them. They don't have those lights no more. It's not.
I think
They don't have it.
the light is still there. It's it's again context. There's a lot of we're not in the times that we used to be in.
But that
We're just not.
movies is timeless. You know,
So
Yeah,
so
yes,
Kev, so
yes,
Kev,
yes,
if
yes,
that
yes,
if
yes,
that's
yes,
legitimately the
yes.
case, then yes, Hollywood has changed, and that's the entire point. While you're right, the audience has changed, but the Hollywood model has changed. As
No, it
you're sitting,
hasn't.
as
The
you
Hollywood
wait a minute,
model is
you're
always.
sitting here, as you sit been sitting here talking.
Hmm.
yeah, I think Ralph is like behind us. That's why it sounds like he's always cutting you off because I can see he has a delay and he got cut off. So he probably had a bad connection because there's sometimes I was
He's
saying
gone.
yeah, he's gone now because he must have had a bad connection. He'll probably be back in a second, but I could tell that's why he sounded like he was coming over us a lot because he was
Dropping in and out.
he was chopping it out and he was delayed. Yeah, so he was hearing your stuff later. So you're on to the next the next thing that you're saying, and he's still hearing the last thing that
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
yeah. So Ralph will rejoin us. We're gonna be ending the show in a few minutes anyway, but you know, I think Ralph, you're back now.
Finish your thought, Ralph, because you were saying something and then you got cut off.
Yeah, I think his mic is
I was saying,
loading up.
like, as you guys have been sitting here talking, I was looking at something out. What you said, the Hollywood model has changed, right? That had the franchise, the Beverly Hills Cop. Beverly Hills Cop came out wintertime 1984, right? It's made 230 something $1 million. You know how much the actual budget was of that movie? It was $13 million. They had no idea that this movie that Eddie Murphy did called Beverly Hills Cop was going to turn into a franchise. It became a franchise, but you didn't know it off the bat. You didn't know if it would hit with the audience because originally this was a project that was supposed to be done by Sylvester Stallone doing it. Maybe it would have been a franchise, but you got Eddie Murphy. This is his full movie, and it turns into a blockbuster and then franchise. What he's saying is stuff like that in today's model would not happen anymore. Unless Eddie Murphy was late into his career and you could have proved that Bill Scott could come out today and make $300 million you put because you put 250 million into it, it wouldn't get made. So while you're sitting saying the audience hasn't changed, you're right. The audience like movies, but the Hollywood model has changed. What he's saying is that he's saying that all anyone wants is a proven IP property that's going to make some money. And if you got something that's smaller, we're not going to look at it. So like people like Spike Lee, for example, in today's times, we never would get Do the Right Thing. Never. We would never, even in today's time, we would never get My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Nobody would take a chance on it. Nobody would take a chance. Realistically speaking, right? Some of the other movies that we like Last Dragon, would never get made today. And that's what he's saying. Like, listen, let's dial it back. A movie doesn't have to cost $300 million for people to go watch it. And not stream it, watch the movie, because streaming does nothing to the box office. We going to people asses back in the theaters.
Yeah, well, I agree with that angle. Yes, I agree. Right now, if you go into and that almost that exact same point came from my agent out in Hollywood, who's been in the business for 30 years. He said he was talking about that too, about the same type of deal. Right now, he told me that even as a writer, you're better off starting off and getting into doing writing for television or streaming or whatever. He said because those are the things that is going right. It's hard pressed. You'll be hard pressed to get in and write a film. Like what you call it? What's his name? Shane Black, who was able to sell his first script ever for $1 million. You know what I'm saying? And you'll be hard pressed to get it and write a film because the films they're into IP that are like what Ralph just said, something that they feel and know it's going to be a immediate return and franchise type of material. That's what they're mostly looking at. And then everything other than that, as what Scorsese said, is almost pretty much now considered a independent film, right? Because that I do agree with, because that's not the first time I've heard that. That came from somebody else who's supposedly, navigated me through this business, of Hollywood. And he's saying, yeah, he's like, get on with a series because same deal, repetition, series, things that bring people. That's what you want to get. That's where all of the new stuff, like creative stuff, new ideas, they're coming through series. They're not coming through movies.
Cutting your teeth
no more. Yeah, they're coming through. Like, so you know what I'm saying? Like Lovecraft Country would have never been made as a movie. It because of the idea of it being the way it was, so original and this and that and different. They took a chance on it as a series. So the new every time I say series, freaking series, I'm gonna have to disable Siri because I don't use it. But every time I say series, Siri pops up. But anyway, so yeah, that in that aspect I do agree. It has changed because they were taking chances on other movies. Like back then, they were taking chances on movies that didn't have any. Just same thing with all of them. The same thing with The Godfather, which did become somewhat of a franchise. It has 3 films, and of course they were able to make a second film right after the success of the first one, but they had no idea it was going to be that successful. And as we all know, that film almost didn't get made. So there's a lot of films that almost didn't get made. We watch, everyone who watches the films that made us, or the movies that made us. Most of the films in those documentaries almost didn't get made. They had no idea. Die Hard, no idea.
Dancing.
Die Hard. They had no idea. They didn't think Die Hard would become as big of a franchise as it did. Dirty Dancing didn't really become like a franchise, but it became a big phenomenon. a big sleeper film, Home Alone. None of those films they knew was gonna be. But now it's a little different. You pretty much know if you go to the studio with intellectual property from a comic book, you pretty much are guaranteed it's going to be at least two films. You're going to get two films out of it. And so you come into it with an IP that already has legs, so to speak, and you're going to probably get a couple films out of it. And if anything else makes them, they're going to turn a profit, whatever, whatever, whatever. But if you come to them with this other film that's just a standalone film and has nothing to do with franchise, it's telling a story and then it's over at the end. Those are the ones right now that are not getting greenlit. They're not getting, or if they are getting greenlit, they're not getting it's more like they're not spending the money on them. So that's where it changed. The idea of it hasn't. They've always wanted to do blockbusters. They always wanted franchise films, but the care that they used to with the films, and I mean, and to be honest, what you said, Kev, about the audience getting older, dying off, whatever. Yeah, their core audience, yeah, they are. They're not really around. Their core audience is not this generation, right? But maybe if this generation was marketed other films, they will be good. And I
Have
mean,
choices.
and yeah, have more choices in there. They would do it. And not to knock the youngins, because I see some of these. I give credit to these Gen Zers that are really trying to dig into some of these older movies or even the independent movies. You know what I'm saying? Like they're watching stuff other than the blockbuster movies. I got to give them credit for that. I see a lot of them doing it, and then I also see a lot of them. There's one particular young lady I follow on right here on YouTube. She's one. She does reactions to movies, and I mean she's a Gen Zer, I suppose. She's young, but I mean her perspective on these movies that she's watching are really interesting. She's watching The Terminator, she's watching Godfather, she's watching Back to the Future, she's watching all of the films from our eras, right? And she's giving real insight on these films, and when they do stuff like that, I respect them for that because they're actually not, they're looking into. And then I found out that she wants to be a filmmaker. So she's doing the right thing by watching the older films, you know. So like I said, I'm not definitely not no not shunning the youngins because there's a lot of them out there that do respect the older material, because these are the foundations of filmmaking. When you watch it, you want to go. I mean, shit, I shouldn't have spent $100,000 in school. I mean, I didn't go there for film or for other stuff, but shoot, you can go to film school now by watching some Alfred Hitchcock, watch some Coppola, watch some
Lucas.
stuff like that. You can huh? Yeah,
Lucas, Kubrick, and
Lucas. What
Spielberg,
these are
and
all.
Lee.
That's film school right there. Because all of their stuff is the foundation of every movie coming after that. So yeah, it's crazy, man. But Martin, I'm gonna check his new movie out. I think the thing with Marty is Marty do be now. The one thing I can side with the studios on is Marty's budget be going up. Marty be
Yeah, it
Marty,
does.
Marty be putting some
Come
big
on, bro.
budgets in. Like, come on, bro. Come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, now, come on now. Now, I could say if I worked for Warner Brothers Studio or I'm an executive, I would say, listen, I'm not spending $400 million. I'm not spending $300 million on a gangster film. I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, but I do understand. Kev made a good point, though. A lot of his stuff is period stuff too. That's where the budget's really
And that
coming
shit is
from.
expensive. I mean,
It is
even with
expensive,
even
in
with
fairness.
television, well, even with
Yeah.
television, and to double back on something that I forget which one you pointed it out, but
Mm-hmm.
with in the '90s, well,
Mm-hmm.
I think the late '90s, going into the early 2000s, is when television series, cable television series, started becoming the thing, the it thing. That's when the series thing started, where we got to have hit series.
Yeah.
With that, a lot of shows that I watched last a season, maybe 2 seasons, because they were period pieces. And the simple fact of the matter is, the further more along you go, the more expensive these series get.
Right.
You would think like, oh well, this year if we do a 1940 film, it's gonna cost 12 million. So next year it should be the same 12 million. No, next year, because now these actors have become who they become, depending on what the term of their contract is, their number is gonna go up. So that's gonna make the budget go up. And whether the costume designers and all that stuff may stay the same, but there's other. And if there are no advertising dollars that are backing some of this stuff, it's just not going to get made, because they're going to be like, well, where's our return? Even with doing stuff, even Netflix has wised up to that now, because they know, like when Netflix had a jump on everybody when they first started, because they had all of that money. They had everybody dumping their money from the stock market into Netflix, so they had a well of money to play around with. Now it's like, okay, where's our return? Are you pushing subscribership? What's going on?
Right. But what I will say about what has changed, if you want to say for the better, maybe for the series when it comes to streaming, they're putting more money into. See, in the '90s, they were, because if you're putting out a season that's got 20 episodes or whatever, you're not spending a crap ton of money on every episode. Where now, because they don't put out that many episodes in the streaming, they put more money into it. And even in some cable, because Game of Thrones obviously went on for several seasons, and that definitely was an expensive show to make. So that went on, they were just like, okay, let's put freaking movie budgets into these episodes, make them really epic and enjoyable, and people will come back. Cool. They're not gonna do. Not everyone's doing that, obviously, because not everyone can afford to do that. But they are. The production value is much better on series when it comes to streaming. The streaming series, they're just much better. It's just really so. Yeah, I mean, it's cool. We'll have to see. I definitely I have not always agreed with Marty um, throughout the years, but I get where he's coming from when it comes to dealing with the studios, and as opposed to where the studios are. The fans don't ever. I don't feel it's ever. And people like Cameron has no. People like him, I don't agree. He has no room to talk, in my opinion. Because, dude, you make blockbuster movies too. So why you trying to crap on them, because they're not. You're crapping on the comic book blockbuster movies, but you can go ahead and spend a gazillion dollars on a movie that on Fern Gully. So come on, man. You need you have no room to open your mouth, because all you do is bite stuff. So you ain't have an original idea in your life.
Well, see, the Abyss is somewhat kind of original, but I think in Cameron's defense is what I think when he says something, right? Because Cameron put a movie out and he took a movie for a smaller budget, and I think I don't know why he shouldn't have a problem with comic movies, but in reality, if Cameron didn't see anything, then we by right, we would not have got Titanic. And we would not have got this or True Lies. We would have got Terminator. He probably wouldn't have did Aliens. So I mean, he in the same boat, and maybe now he's at the point where he can't go and do some original.
He wants to get Aliens, which was great, but I mean, that was off the back of a movie that was already successful. So he went and did that.
He wouldn't have did it. but he wouldn't have did that. It really Scott would have did a sequel because he in Scott's views he thought this movie was done. Right,
Yeah.
Cameron came up with that whole of the sequel. But what I'm saying is that by default, despite what he said, then we would not have got True Lies, we wouldn't have got The Abyss, and we certainly wouldn't have got Titanic. Those would have been gone.
As far
The
as
only
what
one
I didn't hear the first part of what you said. I didn't hear the first part of what you
I
said.
said if I said by default, if Cameron, if what the people are saying now, what Scorsese is saying, then Cameron wouldn't have been able to do True Lies. He wouldn't have been able to do The Abyss, and he certainly wouldn't have been able to do Titanic.
I don't know. I don't know about Titanic. That was also a very big budget film. You know, I mean,
Yes, it was, but and it was between two studios. But what I'm saying is, they like, well, yo, bro, well, you want to spend $200 million on a movie about a ship that is about an accident that happened back in the 1920s? No one wants to see this crap. No one wants to see it.
mm-hmm.
But someone say, hey, and that's remember when they're giving these actors to these films, this just the idea. You don't have a cast assigned to it yet. You got to go out there and put together. You just got like, hey, I'm with this movie. A robot that goes back into the future to kill the future to kill the future leaders of society after the atomic war. But the kicker is back in time is the future leader's father. Like what? That sounds crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
So I
yeah.
mean,
Well,
he might
back.
not
So what you're saying is, back in
even
those
got to do
times,
Terminator.
they were able to take the chance on him saying, okay, because remember, Titanic at the time was probably the biggest budget movie. Cameron always makes pretty much the biggest budget movie of that time. You know, so he because Titanic was over $200 million, definitely all the way
Yeah,
back then.
it was close to 3.
Yeah,
But
it was
the
close.
one saving grace of type, but the one saving grace is he has that no matter it seems like no matter how much money he spends to make the movie, he keeps doubling the investment of course. Oh,
Well,
that's
yeah,
his
but
saving
because
grace.
of that, that's his saving grace. So he's always going to be allowed to do pretty much whatever he wants to do. But I still don't think he has the right to crap on comic book movies when you're sitting here making a bunch of movies. Like I said before, yeah, Titanic. I could have lived or not lived with Titanic. You know what I'm saying? Yes, it came out and be this movie, it's a good movie, blah blah blah. But once again, like you said, if it wasn't for those times and for his proven track record up until that point with the Terminators and stuff like that, it's like it really is. So you're spending $200 million on a film that we know how it ends.
What's the surprise?
What's the
and
surprise?
think about and then think about this. The one movie that he made that should have been a franchise, he never made a franchise, which is True Lies.
True
True
Lies,
Lies should
yeah.
have been a franchise.
True Lies should have, and could have, and should have probably been a franchise. He didn't. It never became
Now,
one. But
now with
yeah.
all of that said, this is
Mhm.
why Martin Scorsese needs to sit down and be quiet because you are a director to where you can get the money, whether it be from you go directly to the bank yourself or whether you go to a studio and get the money. You can get the money, and especially if he
Well,
goes to
he
enough
didn't get the
heads.
money. He didn't get the money for the
I
Irishman.
don't know about that part.
He didn't get the money for that. And, like
Yeah, I
I
don't
said,
know
that's
about that
that's
part.
that in itself.
Well,
That that
he got it because he made it, so he got it
no,
from
but
somewhere.
Got it
it
from a
wasn't
bunch of different
finished. Yeah, and it wasn't even finished. It had to be touched up, a couple of reshoots, stuff like that, and then Netflix bought it. But yeah, he eventually got it. Yeah, eventually, but it wasn't. I guess he had to whatever way he did it, hard press, fight for it, whatever.
He had to haggle. Because I mean,
Which is what
I'm
which is
sorry.
what
I
which
know Martin
again
Scorsese
is what
is a
happens.
very accomplished director, but realistically speaking, Martin Scorsese doesn't bring movies out that generally $150 million at the box office. He's not that guy. He just isn't. He's got a couple movies that's $100 million, yes, but
Yeah.
normally Martin Scorsese is not $150 million grossing film. He doesn't make movies that make $150 million. He just doesn't.
Yeah.
Cameron, on the other hand, I mean, look at the guy. The guy makes movies at bare minimum they make 350. So he got even Spielberg movies that make 200 million plus. Those guys got a little more leeway than Martin Scorsese. Scorsese certainly accolades he's ever gotten. He goes for very artistic kind of things.
Yeah.
You know, he hasn't really jumped on a popcorn, so to speak, bandwagon. Even the movies that are popcorn, like The Wolf of Wall Street, it's still that's very grounded. It's not like he doesn't do movies with a whole lot of special effects and all kinds of crap. That's not him. He does more ground stuff. So he doesn't do 150 million gross movie. You'd be lucky to get 90 million out of a movie.
Yeah.
Lucky.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely not Marty. You know what I mean? It's just like the same thing with Spike Lee when he did the Inside Man. Like, people didn't even know that was Spike Lee.
That's because the studio told him, "Listen, this is what it
That's
is."
his biggest movie.
Do not Spike Lee us.
That's still his Inside Man.
He said, "Don't Spike Lee us." Yeah. So I mean, he got his dolly shot in there. He did get the dolly shot in there. But other than that, he did. I swear to you, and I slipped on that one. I saw the Inside Man. That was one of those films that I just went to see because Denzel Washington was in it. And I didn't really know nothing about that film when I went in to watch it, and I did not realize Spike Lee was the director because I had never seen a trailer or a commercial for it. I just saw Denzel, whatever. I didn't even know he was the director of that. To the end credits, it said directed by Spike Lee. I was like, what? I was like,
I did going into it, and I almost didn't go see it because I was like, I don't want to be Spike Lee. I can wait for this to come on video if I'm going to be Spike Lee. And it was.
I mean, it wasn't that. It just, and I mean, that's a term, but I mean, Spike Lee is a brilliant director in my opinion. So I don't mind being Spike Lee. So I want to be Spike Lee if I'm going to see a Spike Lee movie. But I didn't realize that was a Spike Lee movie, and it was just a studio movie that he directed. It wasn't a Spike Lee movie. It was a movie that Spike Lee directed. He didn't write it. He didn't have nothing to do with none of that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he took the script and directed it.
Yeah, he took a script and directed, which is dope. I was happy to see that too. You know what I'm saying? Because he showed cats that may have doubted that he could do that he could do it. You know what I'm saying? And it's nothing like directing. It's great to direct your own work, but to me, at least from my point of view, I find a nice sense of accomplishment to be able to take someone else's work and direct it, and it still be good.
Good.
You know, that's a good sense of accomplishment to me as a director. Take someone else's product or someone else's property, story, whatever, and direct it, which is what most directors do. Now, most directors don't write their own stuff. You know, most of them. Most directors are directing someone else's thing. So, but yeah, man. So we'll in the coming weeks, I got some things going on. Some I'm gonna have a few guests lined up. And we'll talk more about that. The independent, got a lot of independent actors coming through. We're gonna be setting up some more some of the stuff that we've done in the past, maybe another tournament, but some of the stuff that maybe we can do another tournament to end the year. But some of the stuff we've done.
It's already set. We just gotta do it. Well, I got all the pieces set. We just gotta pull it off.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll do another tournament, couple other panels that we're gonna do, bring it back, and yeah, we'll close out the year good. I know the year's not really over yet, but I'm just saying, get that set up. So yeah, man. Joseph, you've been hanging in there with us. We appreciate you. Oh, Joseph will be happy to hear this announcement. Yes, we will be bringing on one of these weeks, maybe not next week. I will be bringing on as my special guest because, ironically, I've never had her on the show. Uh, India Morel will be coming on the show as our guest. I don't know if she's going to be a guest host or she's going to be a guest, but she's going to come on because I was just with her over the weekend, and it actually was a couple weekends ago when we talked about it. She was like, "Yeah," I was like, "You never came on my show." She's like, "You never invited me." I was like, "Okay, fair enough." So, we'll have India on the show, Joseph. I'm sure you'll be happy to hear that. We'll probably just have her join us and hang out with us for the night and do one of the shows. And yeah, we got
Nah,
some
we
more
gotta do
guests.
no. We can't do that. We gotta hit India up with some kind of trivia or something. Gotta hit it with some hard stuff. I don't know what just yet. Gotta hit it with some hard. Gotta
Yeah.
test her movie knowledge.
Yeah, yeah. Me and India, we've been checking out movies and stuff lately, stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, test some movie knowledge. Yeah, I guess so. Um, I would tell, but I should wait till she come on and tell the story. But that was funny when we went to the movies not that long ago, and she's late, and um, she's walking. I keep seeing she's like, "Okay, I'm here." Okay, she texts me, "I'm here." I don't like. I'm at my seat. I'm like, "Look, I'm gonna send you the screenshot, and you come in when you get in. When you get in." And she's like, "I'm here." Okay, cool. Then I don't see her. I'm like, "What the hell is she at?" She must be getting popcorn or something, whatever. So then I'm just about to grab my phone to text her to say, "Hey, as soon as you come in, make a hard left. Like, I'm at this row." She knew the row, but she didn't know. You know how you go on to the if it's on the right side of the theater or the left side of the theater. I didn't get a chance to text her that, and I'm like, man, maybe she's lost. So lo and behold, all I hear at the other end I'm sitting on the end because I always do. I'm sitting on the end of row whatever J, and we got the two end seats. I hear all the way on the other side. Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me, sorry, excuse me, excuse me. And I'm like, oh my god, she came in on the wrong side. It's like, excuse me, sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. Excuse me, excuse me. So I was just like, yo, I said that has to be her. And then she makes her way all the way down. I said, oh man, you came in on the wrong side. I said, why did I know? So, moral of the story, people, follow your gut. Listen to your gut feeling. My gut feeling told me to text her and say, I'm on the left side. If you're facing the seats, I'm on the left side of the theater. If you're looking at the seats when you come in. And all I hear is, excuse me, sorry, excuse me. Sorry.
No, what the real moral of the story is, be on time to a movie.
Be on time. Be on time is the real moral. We were seeing the Equalizer. I think that was Equalizer 3. Yeah. That was that was funny. Yeah, I was like, yo, I do. Yeah, moral of the story, people, be on time. Cause I'm gonna be there. I'm watching trailers. Hell, I'm watching the Nuvi commercials before the trailers even come on. Like, I'm there early. And I know most women, they don't like to be early.
Manoodles. That's her name. Isn't that her name? Maria Manoodles.
Yeah,
That
but
like people watching our.
Yo, only real movie people even know that. People are like, what are you talking about? If you ain't a movie head, you don't even know who we're talking about. What the hell are you talking about, Nuvi?
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm right there watching those. The lights are still on when I get into the theater. I don't like getting in the theater with it. And if I ever come in, there's a couple times, if I get to the theater and I get there, I'm running late and the lights are off, I am pissed. I'm like, "Urgh."
What I miss? What I miss?
Yeah, I'm
I missed
mad
that
at
hot
that
trailer.
point. Actually,
that
one
hot
of those
trailer.
films, I'm trying to see what film it was that I came in, I watched. I was like, the trailers had already started. I was pissed. I forgot what it was though, but anywho, All right, well, good. Big up to everybody came through. Of course, make sure you guys like. What's Joseph talking about? And he said, "What? My beloved, beautiful AVN 22." He's got the long. He's got the long intro. Yeah, AVN 2022 Hall of Fame goddess. He said, "Yeah, Joseph is funny, man. Yeah, man. She'll be on, bro. She'll definitely be on. It's gonna be one of these. If not next Monday, maybe the Monday after that. I'll get on and so on. But I'm gonna revisit that story and embarrass her when we get on.
Wow.
Cause soon as she sat down, she was like, "Shut up, Wes." And I was just sitting there cracking up. I'm like, "Yo, why did I know?" I see people. Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. It's like literally in that theater we were in. It has to be about 22, 25 seats every row, right? Maybe more. It was a pretty big theater. It was the Dolby theater that that AMC uses a lot. They usually have that one Dolby theater that's bigger than all the other ones. And that's usually where they do their premieres, like, their bigger movies. So that we were in the biggest theater in that particular movie theater building. So that was funny. Walking all the way across. I said, why did I know that was gonna happen? And my last but not least, I want to say is people, moviegoers, please get your damn popcorn before you sit down and the movie starts. Why the hell is so many people feel like they got to get up and walk past me or whoever else and go get some damn popcorn? Get your popcorn before. I can see you guys show up early enough, get your seat, and then go get your popcorn. Fine. You just want to get established, sit stuff down. I've done that before. But you wait until the damn movie starts? Not even the trailers? You wait till the movie starts? Get up and go get popcorn? So many people did it through the Equalizer too. It was so annoying. But anyway, shout out to everybody who came in and watched this show. Shout out to people that will be watching the show. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, make a comment, share it with your friends. We will definitely be back with y'all next week with some more insight, some more Jedi knowledge, and we'll talk some more ish, talking movies. Till next time, y'all. Peace.